Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wario Land 2. Yeah, we're finally getting...
I can't believe that the pin-up copy of me got a secret of his own.
Sorry, Jova, but from this point on, Mario is no longer in this franchise.
You'll see, everybody. I bribed Nintendo to deposit it
So, yeah.
out of me.
After Wario Land 1 was incredibly successful, and Wario became a really popular character in the Game Boy, the Nintendo just decided to, let's keep making more Wario Land games then, since the team was actually generally more interested in making more Wario Land games rather than making Mario games.
Oh, and for clarification's sake, this is the part where they stopped calling it Mario Land, because, for those who don't recall, Wario Land 1 is also referred to as Super Mario Land 3.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna see a Waluigi Land, are you?
Yeah, and now that Wario was generally popular enough, they were faithful enough to just let his name carry the game. But yeah.
Until he would retire to Micro Machine games.
Here's the primary thing. Wario Land 2 is a gigantic step forward from the first game. And the first game was already pretty damn good for Game Boy standards, but this is one of my favorite Game Boy, probably my favorite Game Boy game that I think about, because, and I'll go on as we go, but let's just say this is possibly one of the most ambitious Game Boy game, probably the most ambitious Game Boy game ever made, just because of how much content it has. But I'll get into it as we go along. Anyway, you might remember these. Anyway, you better remember these guys as some of. Okay, basically, everybody. These guys are entering our castle, and apparently they're going to steal our treasures that we got from the first game, and they're going to. Apparently, they're also the wet bandits. Apparently, these guys are also the wet bandits from Home Alone, and they're going to leave the water running for some reason. I don't.
I wonder who these bad guys work for.
I wonder why my water bill is so high this month.
And they leave an alarm clock here. Yes, let's wake Wario up so that he can. Is it? No, it's not, Joe. I can tell you. I can assure you, it's not a bomb. At least not that
It's a bomb that's shaped to look like an alarm clock.
But it doesn't explode it when I kill it, though.
Weird.
Oh, never mind. I guess they're just trolling him.
Here's the fun fact.
Why is my alarm clock waking me up at
Chapter 1, Noisy Morning. Story 1, turn off the alarm clock. The story title is always the objective name, basically. Okay, so I'm playing the Game Boy Color version, which is why we have color. However, this is actually not one of those Game Boy Color only games. This game actually originally came out on the original Game Boy, just to give you guys an idea. This is not... because the Game Boy Color was basically a handheld NES. But no, this game actually was originally made for the normal Game Boy, and then they made a colorized version. So what you're watching is a Game Boy game, a good old-fashioned old Game Boy game that could play on that good old greenish, yellowish
I guess
screen.
Game Boy Color. I guess if you play it on Game Boy Color, it's really enhanced.
No, Dibs. There were two versions actually. There was the normal Game Boy version and the Game Boy Color version.
Similar to Link's Awakening.
Yeah, similar to Link's Awakening. There were actually plenty of... back when the Game Boy Color came out, Nintendo actually did pick out some of its most popular games and made Game Boy Color versions. This one in particular...
Game Boy Color tended to be the preferred way to play, especially those that included extra little trinkets here and there.
And this particular version is the only one that's been re-released on the Virtual Console on the 3DS. The Nintendo never re-released the normal game, which makes sense because there's
missing much.
There's no real reason. The Game Boy Color version, unlike Link's Awakening, doesn't add any new content. It's literally the exact same game copy-pasted, just with color put on top of it.
Yes, 1998. The time where the only thing bigger than my stomach were my muscles.
There's really no reason to play the normal Game Boy version anymore. This is literally the exact same thing, and the color is very good, as you guys can see. So there's no reason. We can just keep that for archive purposes on emulators, I guess. Anyway, as you can probably see, Wario Land 2 definitely looks quite different from Wario Land 1. Wario Land 1 was more of like
timer.
Yeah, no timer. Wario Land 1 was actually kind of a Mario game because it still had the blocks and stuff like that, and the power-ups and stuff like that. And to be fair, this game still has power-ups, just they're different, as you'll see. But, yeah. Here's the primary difference. Wario cannot die in this game. Wario is immortal. And the manual even is very cheeky about it, because the manual does this thing where Wario is the one that's wrote the manual. And he says, Wario Land 2 is the best game yet for me. Why? Because in this game, I'm immortal. There's no game over.
Yeah, this is why I become protagonist of this series. You see, because I don't die, they don't have to pay me insurance.
It's okay. You're probably wondering, wait, Pedro, if Wario's immortal, then what exactly is the challenge of this game? Well, unlike the first game, which was mostly a Mario-style platformer with some exploration to it, and of course the fact that it was Wario, and so of course there was a bit more edginess to it of sorts. This game takes a bit more cues from something like DuckTales, in the sense that it's a more explory type of platformer. It's not. There is platforming. Oh, hold on. Minigame. Okay,
Alright.
In order to play the minigame, you have to spend coins. 50 coins for hard mode, 100 coins for normal mode, and 200 coins for easy mode. We're gonna go with hard. It's just to make this interesting.
Should we tell the game?
Alright, we have that Kirby-ish thing. See if you can find it within the time that it gives us in those panels.
Top right.
Oh, very good, Webs.
Yay! Do I win money?
No.
This was harder maybe on a Game Boy Color screen, but with this up resolution,
and look at that.
It's a lot easier to spawn.
And look at that little reference, a little reference to the first game, because remember, one of the power-ups in the first game was a Viking hat that gave us more power.
I really got to wonder these guys' logic here. Why are you leaving an alarm clock in the guy whose house you're burglarizing?
These guys are not very good at their job, Jova.
Not just that. This game has more emphasis on Japanese humor, because a lot of weird shit happens in this game.
Yeah.
Who's their lead? Who's their boss?
Webs, you might remember the leader from the previous game, but we'll get to it.
I'm sure it's a great mystery.
Well, look at that! I got two dark coins. Basically, everybody, sometimes whenever I break blocks or coins fall on them, and sometimes at random, and we even got a sound effect telling us, like you just heard, we'll get dark colored coins, which are worth 100 coins. They're random sometimes, but if you hear that sound effect, get that coin because it will disappear in a couple seconds. So,
because the way it looked. Because it looked black, I thought it'd be like the Zetars in
the poison mushroom.
No, the Zetars in Mario Party where it takes away stuff.
Well, but it's not. I guess they couldn't come up with a better color. I guess it's probably because of the limitations of the Game Boy, the original Game Boy.
They are called dark coins.
Well, yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this was the original Game Boy game. So in the original game, the coins looked white. The original coins looked white. So obviously, to differentiate them, let's make them look black. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Anyway, yeah, this game is much more of an exploring collectathon of sorts, where the goal is to look for treasures, like the one we just got from that minigame, and just get as many coins as you want. Why? Because you need coins to enter the minigames, which allows you to collect all the collectibles, which are necessary for 100% completion, so you can get to the final level of the game. So basically, and as you go, another thing that, another black, man, I'm lucky today, aren't I? Here's the alarm clock. And as you can see, Jova, no, it's not a bomb.
It left an explosion when defeated, so...
Well, if that was... if that was the bomb, it was definitely the most least threatening bomb I've ever seen. Anyway, yeah, we got 745 coins. Alright, the treasures are not obligatory. You can just complete the main story and be satisfied with the first ending. But let's just say there's a lot more story to unlock if you go out of your way to get the treasures. The game, I'll just say that the game heavily rewards you for doing these mini games and getting all the treasures. It's definitely worth it, I assure you.
It could be a 6, though.
Let's see.
How could it be? Oh, yeah, it could be.
It is.
Oh, you're right.
I'm on fire.
Yeah,
you're actually right because it was of an angle.
As my co-commentators realized on themselves, it's a guess the number minigame. And that's a little bit of a panel. We're supposed to form a picture with that. We'll form it as we go along. And yeah, save. Thanks. Chapter 1, Noisy Morning. 2, turn off the giant faucet. All right then.
So essentially, this is the equivalent of just undoing house pranks.
Basically, yeah. This game goes a lot more for the collectathon treasure thingy, which makes sense considering it's Wario. It also helps to differentiate it from Mario series, because Wario Land 1 was a great game, don't get me wrong, but it was still clearly rooted in Mario tropes. But this one, on the other hand, definitely goes for a completely unique gameplay style of its own compared to Mario.
If Waluigi were the one behind these pranks, I could imagine him doing like his own YouTube pranks video series or something. Hello, welcome to Waluigi Pranks.
Silly dweebs, Nintendo pretends that Waluigi doesn't appear outside of Mario Party and Mario Kart.
Well, no, Tio. He's in Mario Tennis as well.
This sports, all right.
Well, that is kind of his thing. He's never really shown up outside of.
I know. The problem is that there's so much wasted potential for the things they could do with a potential.
Oh, Jesus! This is one of them. Instead of power-ups, we have forms of sorts. If you let somebody burn you, water turns into fire, as you saw, and you can break these fire blocks. Those blocks can only be broken when you're on fire. So keep that in mind for later when it comes up. Yeah, this particular formula and this exact same engine even was also used in the sequel, Wario Land 3, which tends to be the more preferred game from Wario Land fans. Personally, I still prefer this one. Wario Land 3 is a great game, don't get me wrong, but this game has so much more content and so much more ambitious for what it's trying to do. But I'll go into it. Wario Land 3, on the other hand, has only a fraction of this game's content. It kind of felt like a step backwards to me in that way, honestly. Maybe this game just raised the bar too high, I don't know.
But I missed.
Yeah, sorry, but we don't have the German voice actors in this game.
Also, is Totaka still the composer for this?
I don't think so. At this point, they got a different... I don't think he was... Was he even doing the music for Wario Land 1? I don't think he was.
It does the same thing of Super Mario Land 2 of having a leitmotif that it's repeated multiple times through the game.
No, the Totaka song is not in this one. They got a different composer.
Not just the Totaka song, I mean the Wario theme that you heard also at the beginning, gets repeated through the entire game in some different fashions.
It definitely has some hints of the Totaka theme in this theme, though, at least the one used in Mario Land 2.
The composer is named Kazui Ishikawa.
Oh, I think I heard of him.
Let me see.
What else he did, Lives?
That's rolling. Whenever you're rolling, you can also break walls when you roll. That's how you get through this. Notice, there's a... sorry, go ahead, Liz.
In terms of composing work, she's yes, a she by the way. She's done music for Link's Awakening, Wario Land, Earthbound, Star Fox 2,
okay.
Wario Land 2, Famicom Bunko, Hajimari no Mori.
So basically, she's a
Wario
Nintendo
Land
veteran.
3, Mario Tennis, and the last thing she's done really was a voice role in Nintendo Puzzle Collection.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a Wario Land 3.
Yeah. As you probably noticed, there's a lot of secret rooms in this game that have coins. And trust me, when you're looking for the treasure room that we're doing right now, the treasure rooms are not always in the most obvious of places. So there's going to be a lot of exploration involved if you want to 100% this game. So, again, this game is all about exploring the stage, finding as many treasures in a bed. Okay. It's all about finding as many coins and treasures as you can so you can, get yourself richer, because we're Wario. In the meantime, so the challenge is more so, and you're probably wondering, Pedro, what about challenge in terms of boss fights and stuff like that? If Wario is immortal, how can that work? Well, when we get to our first boss, we'll talk about that. You were saying, Jova?
So, in terms of the composer, poor girl, she got the Star Fox game that got cancelled. Though it did later get released. A bit behind schedule. And it's been behind schedule.
20 years.
And the ROM has been leaked in the internet for years at this point, so...
It has? Oh, well, I mean...
I think that was like the alpha state.
No, that's a faint that's the faint tale. The ROM that has been on the internet for a long time has actually been completable. It's fully completable from beginning to end. You can see all the...
Well, by alpha state, Pedro, we mean it's not like, the actual game they intended it to be, like the one that's actually on the SNES Classic.
I guess, sure. I already. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Have people found any potential differences between the two?
Let's see. It's more. The general consensus is that the SNES Classic version is more complete.
Sometimes. There's a faucet. Okay. Sometimes you can tell when a wall is breakable because you can see a little bit behind the wall that seems suspicious compared to other walls, but there are walls that are not obvious, so it's always a good idea to experiment and just bumble around and try to break walls and stuff and see if you can find some super duper hidden room so you can get even more coins. Again, this game rewards you for how much you poke into it.
Okay, so I turned off the faucet, but what am I gonna do about the water?
Actually, that's what the next level is for. Actually, so believe it or not. All right, so another number game, but first let's save the states just to make sure I don't have to retry. There.
Gloria Virtual Console.
Well, technically I'm playing on a natural emulator, not virtual console, but I know what you mean. That's because, this particular mini game can only be done. You were saying, Teo? Sorry.
No, I'm trying to guess the number. I think it's 5.
6.
Oh wait, no, it can't be an 8.
6 or 5.
Let's see. Nope.
Yes, I was right again.
Okay. Where was I going? Oh yeah. This particular minigame can only be done at the end of each level. So if you do fail, you have to complete the level again to try it again. So, which is why I'm saving a state, just to make sure I save myself some time.
Damn, I'm on fire. This is like the first time I've been right on questions every single time.
It's not as bad as it may seem. Like, unless you insist on always collecting every single coin every time you redo a level, you can just rush through the level again. And as long as if you're rushing through the level, not and ignoring everything, and go straight to the goal, the levels are fairly quick to complete. You should be fine.
Anyway, let the water out.
Yeah, there you go. Basically, we're going to let the water out, like you said.
You know, guys, this should have been called like Wario Housework, not Wario Land. I mean, look at me. I might as well have a broomstick and clean the place up.
You know, you could always hire a plumber, eh?
I don't like that plumber. Who the hell are you?
It's me, Mario.
I am not touching.
I don't want to come to your stupid party. Now stop calling me.
Well, Teo.
You get invited to the first 2 Smash games just for that.
Well, Teo, ever since George Martinez started it, it's just official that everybody does it, Teo. It's just inevitable at this point.
I
If it's in a consolation to you, it's not like everybody assumes that that's what all Italians
Besides, it's better than... well, I like Captain Lou Albano as an actor, but him as Mario, that was way too stereotypical for its own good.
It's interesting you say that, Teo, because there actually have been some people... It's a minority, I know, but there actually is a minority of people who grew up with that Albano as Mario, and they really enjoyed it, and they when they heard Charles Martinez Mario, they really didn't like it because they were used to the Brooklyn thing, because remember he was...
I kind of know what you're talking about, but that's an entire huge topic for another time, if I started to mention some of the people that have this... so for now I understand what you mean.
It's interesting because the way it was that Martinet came up with the voice literally on the fly, because they just didn't even give him any kind of direction, just told him, okay, I'm recording, go. And he just blurred that out, the whole "It's a me Mario" thing, and Miyamoto listened to it, and he literally went, "Okay, we found our Mario," and
the rest is history.
So Miyamoto likes it. So
I mean,
fun fact, actually, yes, Smash Ultimate is officially Charles Martinet's 100th reprisal of a role as Mario, in which he got an award for that. I forget if it was a Guinness World.
That sounds like a Guinness World Record.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget, Steve Blum currently holds the Guinness World Record of most voice-acted roles ever.
Anyway, let me explain these bubbles. Whenever you get caught in one of those bubbles, you're forced to continue moving up until you hit something and the bubble breaks. So if you're going down like I am right now, make sure you dodge the bubbles. As you can see, they come out of those cracks. Yeah, and you have to wait until... again, basically, Jova, as you're about to see, the challenge in these levels is not so much about dying, it's more so about overcoming the obstacles. They don't kill you, but the levels are designed in a way where it's challenging to just get around, you know? Like, it's about overcoming the obstacles and not be sent back rather than dying or not dying, you know? So the challenge is still there. It's just a different sort of challenge. But go ahead.
Kind of makes you feel a bit sorry for the bad guys, since, well, as far as we know, their efforts are futile.
Well, there is another thing. If you do get hit by the enemies, even though you don't die, you do lose coins. So you do
it's pretty much the Lego game style of how you play. So
you do have an incentive not to get hit, at least. So the game, even though the whole not dying thing may sound like the game is basically being made for casuals or something like that. No, it's actually not. It's just the game is designed around the immortality of Wario. It brings out the challenge in other areas that don't involve the character dying.
Not to mention...
It also helps make this game quite unique, especially for its time, but go ahead.
Not to mention, there's a lot of emphasis on kind of like a slapstick and comedy implemented with the platforming. So there's also that factor that compensates that. I mean, the game does its best in compensating the fact that you don't die. Mm-hmm. So there is that.
And one of the particular gimmicks of this level is the switch that changes the level of how high the water is. Like, for example, now it's too low, so we need to... So there you go, that's the primary... So yeah, another thing is that the levels themselves also tend to have plenty of varied gimmicks. The levels don't never really get repetitive for the most part, because they always tend to have pretty unique gimmicks. They dish them out in a good spades. Like they never repeat the same gimmick too often. Like, for example, we have this gimmick of the switch and the bubbles, and we're not going to get a level that uses these particular two gimmicks for quite a while. So the game does a good job with pacing as well. It doesn't abuse... Go ahead. You were saying, Jeff? Sorry.
No, I wasn't saying.
It looked like you were about to say something. All right.
That's all right.
All right. Trying to get the coins.
Wow.
Notice that particular current sends you downward, so you need to use the coins in here. Wow. So the coins, sorry, the bubble, sorry.
Whoever those fees were, they did a pretty bad job. They dropped them in the freaking
coin!
ocean.
Dark coin.
Wario, just a question here. Why did you put a door that you can clearly only reach if you know you're going spelunking? Because,
But don't you see, beneath this fat exterior is the body of a professional Olympic athlete. Only I can get through there.
Well...
How? You suck at... Well, okay, you don't necessarily suck at climbing, but... How are you supposed to go up a solid wall unless you got spider powers?
For this one, we're using normal speed. Oh, this is the easiest one to get, so... Okay.
Bottom left.
Let's see. Nope.
Curse streak broken.
The idea is just to wait until something's revealed.
Yeah, but that would be cheating.
No, it's not, Dwebs. The whole point of the game is for you to...
Graves, you ever play Wheel of Fortune? Just because you get a hint doesn't mean you've won the game.
Yes, Joe, we had our own Wheel of Fortune out here.
The whole point of the game...
theme 6 Ways to Sunday, we all know.
No, Joe, that was Jeopardy, Joe. The Wheel of Fortune, we came up with our own brand new theme.
The way the game works is you get that brief glimpse at every single one of the panels, and basically, if you're quick enough with your eyes, you might you might be able to see it, which is why we have alternate difficulties. If you pick easy, which costs 200 coins, it is pretty straightforward and easy to get. Like, normal is of course more challenging, and hard is basically, you get only like a very brief glimpse. So if you want to make that easy, it's teaching you how to roll. There you go. Basically, just press down when you're on stairs and stuff.
Yes, I played Sonic 1.
Yes, even better. That pause.
What's that block?
There you go.
That pause. I will be able to do that for 19 years.
Somehow, this froze out all the water in the castle. Somehow, I don't.
Hey guys, that pose of Mario will be able to do that for another 19 years, which makes me Mario #1.
Yeah, the removal of... Well, actually, no, he'll be able to do it in... Oh god, Odyssey was 19 years after that.
Yes, and 19 years. By that point, my series went from strength to strength. When's the last time I had a game, by the way?
You had Shake It.
That's good, right?
That was on the Wii. I mean, okay, I guess if we count your WarioWare games, you've got WarioWare Gold.
Gold.
Which just came out last year.
Yeah, you'll say that this is why Wario's great. He has the most spin-off games out of any other character. I have more than Luigi. I have more than Yoshi. I have more than Waluigi, which is easy because he has none. I have more than Daisy. I have more than Peach. Oh, by the way, how did that one go?
Wario, just to let you know, Mario technically has the most spin-offs. Heck, you're technically a spin-off of him.
Go down the cellar.
But
Yes.
seriously, how was that
Ooh.
Super Princess Peach?
It's
What?
Okay,
the
okay,
hell is
okay.
that?
Allow me to explain. I love this
yeah,
music, by the way.
Good. Very good description of Super Princess Peach, Tio.
Basically, if you get crushed, water turns into a pizza, and you can go, somewhat fall slowly thingy. And this particular form allows you to just get, easily get coins like this. And it also allows you to go through specific passages that cannot be.
And water makes you go back to normal. Did we mention that this game was made in Japan?
Well, that's the thing too.
It gets even worse, especially with the WarioWare titles. I know.
Yeah.
All right, so take your bets, folks. Which is weirder, this game or Super Bonk?
But you realize, Pedro, this is Wario Special Water, meaning that I get double the strength from like Popeye.
From being crushed?
So water is your spinach.
No, from drinking water.
So
Water being your spinach, that sounds like you'd be OP.
Wouldn't it make more sense for Wario to be the Bluto to Mario's Popeye?
Who the fuck is Bluto?
The rival who always gets beats up by
You've never seen a Popeye cartoon, have you?
Oh, I've seen Popeye. I just forgot who Bluto was.
The big sailor, the big muscular sailor.
Okay.
Originally it was supposed to be
Simba
Simba the sailor, but we changed his name later.
To Dribs' credit, they kind of do that thing where they don't always call Bluto by name to the point where sometimes he's just a nameless guy.
True, yeah. It was back in the earlier shorts.
It's sort of like...
he actually premiered as Sinbad, like it was the first short that, like Theo said, like it was called Sinbad. But then I guess they figured they wanted to make him an original character rather than just use a fictional one. But go ahead.
That was weird to make Sinbad a bad guy.
That too, yeah. Go ahead.
By the way, I got a question.
Yes, Dwibs?
What is my job occupation other than the awesome one?
You're a treasure hunter.
You don't. You're just a treasure hunter, basically.
And when you lack money, apparently you call a bunch of weirdos and host a bunch of mini games.
Well, of course, it's my job to host parties. Also better than that Mario guy. At least mine's a fair fight.
Well, Teo, a guy needs his entertainment, I guess. Anyway, yeah, now I need to get myself back to normal because... obviously you have to try your best not to get crushed in this part. However, these singular birds, they take you away coins when you're normal, but when you're splattered, they make you back to normal somehow. I don't know.
But you'll see, I can't tell you either.
Go ahead.
No, I just say I can't tell you. I don't know what the fuck these things are doing here.
If you don't know what the hell's going on in your own game, what chance do we?
I tried to call Princess Daisy because she said she was an exterminator.
But I thought Princess Daisy didn't like you since you stole her statue.
She's
that was her statue? I thought that was Mario's statue.
No.
Oh wait, never mind.
You're thinking of Mario's castle in the second Mario Land.
But she's a very forgiving, you'll see. Ever since she took on that new attitude of hers, she's more sporty and that. She had no time to have grudges.
To be fair, I can see Peach doing that, yeah.
She's gonna kick your rear end in the next sports tournament, you know.
Remember in Mario Land 2, she's Wario is for some reason hanging out with the rest of Mario's gang, and I don't understand why.
Was he at the end of Mario Land 2? I thought Mario just kicked him out of his castle.
Mario Land. No, sorry, no, not Mario Land. Sorry, Mario Party 2. Sorry. Ugh.
Oh, okay, now that makes sense. That's Mario Party. He knows that he'll be able to wallop him with the upcoming suffering that is every Mario Party.
Second bottom.
Dwibs, you're not supposed to guess. You're supposed to see if you can spot it.
Oh, second to the right.
Well,
there we go.
Well, first.
Probably what's the first? It's more fun to guess before they come up.
But
then it's just random.
In that case, you're just making this random then.
Yeah.
But it's more fun, don't you? Then
is it?
I guess it depends on what you find fun.
I guess. Anyway, yeah, when the exit is just a door, it always has those star things, and it has that theme even. Basically, whenever you get near the goal, that theme always plays. So basically, you always are aware when you're near the goal. All right, let's guess one more number. Draw.
5.
Hmm.
5.
8. It's not
it's
helping.
Let's try 8. There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
What are you doing? Oh, you don't want to spend that much.
Very good too. Okay,
Yeah,
whenever
that lady, but it's called tax fraud. See, Yoshi was doing it wrong.
the game determines what number it's going to be the moment the minigame starts, so you can just load the state at any point and just there you go.
You see, Yoshi was doing the whole tax fraud thing wrong. He should have come to me. I'd have showed him a thing or two.
Alright, now time for the final story of Chapter 1. Defeat the giant snake. And I don't understand what the hell a giant snake is doing in my castle, but okay.
No,
Giant
guess
snakes
it
have a
was-
tendency to hang out in the cellars of giant
Oh,
castles
gee,
for
I
some
wonder
reason.
if those coins were giving me some kind of hint. Oh well.
I guess it was infected by the T virus.
I guess.
Alright, let's see.
I'm even faster than that Wario guy.
Are you sure about that?
Wasn't the T-Virus just supposed to zombify people? What, now it also makes snakes giant?
Well, it mutates also the animals, Joe. Remember, it happens with the snake, with the spiders, for example.
Well, I get that, but the weird thing is like, oh, okay, with the dogs, it makes them zombie dogs, the Cerberuses. Why, with all the other animals, does it just make them big?
I
Your
don't know.
Mr. Hexion, you're questioning logic in a game you're questioning logic in a video
Oh, speaking
game.
of zombies,
We're turning on the faucet for us the whole fucking castle, and all I have to do to get rid of it is just to turn it off, and then I clean it up in like 2 minutes.
Why does
Obviously,
Wario have a
to exited the building with that, Mr. Wario.
giant faucet to begin with?
Don't you see, I like to think big, and because of that, I like my things to be big.
I guess it likes sometimes to just transform the basement into a swimming pool.
Well, technically, remember, as we saw in Wario Land 1, this castle was made by the genie, so I guess it was just the genie's choice.
Genie decorated.
There you go. What we just found there was an alternate exit to the level. We'll get back to this later.
Interesting.
Just consider that a little sneak peek for things to come.
Anyway, going back to Resident Evil, it's weird
also,
too
look
because
at
I forgot.
I'm working in the
Remember, the game told us that we're supposed to defeat a boss in this level, and yet we can leave without it.
Fascinating.
Fascinating,
Anyway,
isn't it? Oh, look,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the entrance to the boss. Probably.
It's got a skull in it, so it either means that or it's a death route.
All right.
Yeah, for some reason, boss rooms love to be marked by skeletons back in the day.
It's because a skull is usually iconic for
Even-
danger or something like death or something like that.
Even the Binding of Isaac does that.
So anyway, you know what's weird to you? Remind me, which was the one Resident Evil bit of material where it's literally the zoo that's zombified?
Outbreak. The one with the elephant.
Oh yeah,
also.
Outbreak. We never really talk about that Resident Evil game, do we?
It's just a spin-off that doesn't add that much. It's yet another group of people that was doing stuff in Raccoon City that somehow it's important to the grand scheme of things.
Thank goodness it's not as egregious as Operation Raccoon City. And again, that has way more stuff than just the problems. Like, seriously, it's the one game that manages to ruin Nemesis. Like,
It's kind of like a Crisis Core towards Final Fantasy VII. It adds elements and then pretends that these things were there all along in the main game.
yeah.
Oh, well.
Alright, try the
Alright,
title.
Pause
This
it.
kind of make me wonder how
All
they're
right,
going to maybe
Dwebs.
reinvigorate
Instead-
stuff with the Final Fantasy VII remake.
All right, Dwebs. Instead of guessing, see if you can spot it when the panels flip. It's on normal and even, so you shouldn't be that hard.
Alright.
Bottom.
Aha!
Second bottom.
There you go.
There you go.
Why do I lock these things behind these picture locks? I know what they say.
Who says you're the one who
It's a
put
power
them there?
glove?
It's a video game. Just roll with it.
I love the power glove.
It's so bad.
Yeah, that was
my
back.
point.
Yeah, that was back in the '80s, where for some reason the word "bad" was supposed to mean cool.
Cool.
Even though that
It
doesn't
still
make
kinda does.
even though that doesn't make a sense to me. But
Because there was
We have
this
Michael
stereotype.
Jackson to thank for that.
There was also the stereotype of the cool lone wolf type of character.
Yeah.
I guess, but the way that song meant it was like he was a bad boy, as in, bad boys tend to be regarded as cool. But he's saying the power glove is bad to an object. Shouldn't that only apply to bad boys? You know, I don't know.
Bad boys, what you gotta do? What you gotta do when I can't buy you?
It's weird. Anyway, boss battle. Okay, so how do the boss battles work? First,
Hello.
hey Snake. So let's see what happens. There we go. Since the boss cannot kill you, what the bosses do is this: they throw you to the top of the screen.
In this case, they shit
He
you.
pooped him out.
Yeah, in this case, it pooped me out, and I have to start the boss all over again. So basically, even though you can't die, if you get struck by the boss once, you have to start all over. So basically, it's still kind of a one-hit kill type of boss battle. It's just not as unforgiving as some other games would normally have them.
Oh, jeez.
And
Jump on his head.
and since this is a Nintendo game, obviously we operate on the rule of 3.
Yay.
Yeah, look at me. I got rid of a steak.
What was it even doing in your castle?
I have no idea. Like, genuinely.
I probably should have sealed off that steak pipe.
This game does like to try to create some minor worlding. For example, we're about to learn the next part that Wario, for some reason, has a pet chicken, or a pet hen, if you prefer.
One.
Come on, guys.
So he does. So he doesn't have a pet. So he doesn't have a pet piranha plant like Waluigi does. Also, yeah, that's.
Hey, Pedro, it's when I get hungry.
That reminds me too.
Well,
have
yeah,
you
she
seen
does
the-
lay eggs, so I guess, yeah.
That reminds me
Yes.
too. Have you seen the headcanon that people think that the piranha plant that made it into Smash is Waluigi's pet piranha plant?
Cutscene.
Of course.
Uh-oh, our
we
treasures are
finally
missing.
find out who was behind this dastardly deed. Or are they going to try and keep us in suspense? That is, unless the manual itself already stated.
Another particular thing that I like, the third one is always slow, and he's always bumping up to the others. It's a nice little touch that adds a bit of character to them.
Again, emphasis on the comedy here.
Get back here, you gummies!
There you go. That's Wario's pet. And this hand is very sensitive, apparently, because...
It's my chicken.
Yeah, and apparently this hand is incredibly sensitive, because that was enough to decide for the hand to decide to just fuck off and go, I guess.
Chickens are very excitable.
I guess. But yeah, alright everybody, in the next part we try to get our hand back, hopefully. So, see you then.
See ya.
Yeah.